right, thank you very much, Betty. We are coming to you live from the KICC, where they've just finished the launch of the Nairobi region of the second and last phase of the mass voter registration exercise. And joining me on set now is CORD leader Raila Odinga. Thank you very much, sir, for coming in. And Nairobi County Governor Kidero, we appreciate your presence. And going by the speeches we've had, we've been live, we've seen the kind of communications you've given to Kenya. Could we say that you're comfortable with the way IEBC is handling the mass registration exercise? Are you confident that they're prepared for this?
Well, we can only talk about Nairobi.
Yes.
We have still yet to get information about arrangements countrywide. But if what we've seen here is something to go by, then we think that probably IEBC have organized themselves to capture the people. My only reservation here is about the figures they're talking about. Because as we were told, there were 26 million people who have attained the age of registration. And there are about 24 million who have ID cards. We would like to see that at the end of this exercise, as many as possible, say a minimum of 22 million people will have registered as voters. Then they will have reached a figure that you can say is a representative of the people of Kenya.
The IEBC target is 4 to 6 million, 4 on the lower side. Do you think they have capacity to register as many as you're talking about?
I see no reason why they cannot register 9 million people in this exercise. I think 4 to 6 million is very much on the lower side. They should aim at registering 9 million people. If they fall short of that, it should be as close as possible. At least 8 million people should be registered during this exercise.
Governor, we've just launched for Nairobi County, and as a governor, well, what are your thoughts about how the process has been conducted today?
I think, first of all, we pay tribute to IEBC. They seem to be better prepared than they were before. Just as Honorable Raila said, they are targeting to do 904,000 voters in Nairobi, which probably is far less than what we should be targeting, because we believe there are at least an additional, because currently number of registered voters is 1.8 million. There is at least another 1.3 million voters who are not registered. We have 270 kits in Nairobi at a rate of 100 registrations per kit. They can only do 810,000. And that is if the registering officials are at speed. But we've seen in cases where the speed is not as fast as it is. So probably the number that can be registered is a lot less. Also, what we would wish is that there are people who might not be available during the day, like people who work in construction places, like people who work in security, with security firms during the day. They are only available way after work, and they go to work before the registration centers open. So we've appealed to IEBC to reconsider the opening hours so that the people who are not available within the normal registration period are taken care of.
In your capacity as opposition leader, this is a time when we've seen politicians come out in large numbers to try and mobilize their people to register as voters. What are some of the strategies you're employing to ensure that your side will get as many Kenyans as possible registered as voters?
What we've done today, we've appealed to Kenyans in general, not just supporters of ODM, of CORD, or of NASA. To turn out and register as voters. Obviously, we'd like to see our supporters turn up in large numbers, making use of this opportunity. That's why we have been appealing for more kits to be given in areas with a higher population, but which are maybe geographically not as expansive as in some other part of the country. So a combination of geography and population would have given a much better formula of the distribution of these kits. But that is now, you can say, water under the bridge. What we want, again, to appeal to IBC is to begin to focus on the polling itself, so that you don't have, again, the kind of situation you have with less kids. And I would want them to, instead of just looking at procurement, to look at leasing the equipment on that day, the EVID equipment. And this they can get from countries like Tanzania, from Ghana, from Nigeria, which now have these kits. They've just used them. So that on that particular day, you have sufficient kits in each and every polling station. In Ghana, there are at least 2 kits per station, so that in case one had a problem, there was a backup all the times. And because of that, they ensured that every person was facilitated to vote. So as we focus on registration, let us look at the polling also. But this other time, let them, during this registration exercise, ensure that there's a backup, so that if there's a failure, they can substitute and bring another one, so that each and every Kenyan who turns up to register as a voter is enabled to do so.
We've seen leaders from pastoralist communities complain that or ask to be given more BVR kits because of the nature in which their people engage, because they are pastoralists. Are you okay with the number of BVR kits distributed all over? Because the IEBC dispatched about 7,000 of them. Do you think this is a good number?
No, ideally we still should have had a kit for every polling station.
Yes.
This is because as IBC has slept on the job. Basically, the mistakes of the past commissioners. There is no reason why we should be coming to this at this stage and we don't have sufficient kits. You know, in the pastoralist areas, the pastoralist communities are mobile, and the distances are very big in those areas. So sometimes people find it difficult to move maybe 100 kilometers or 50 kilometers to go and register as voters. So they could have had mobile registration units in the pastoralist areas, so that you can capture as many voters there as possible.
Governor, let's get a bit political. I understand we don't have too much time, but I'll have to ask this. You are definitely vying to become governor again of Nairobi County, but the opposite side, they're making alliances to try and get you out of office. Does this worry you, given the number of people who are, quote unquote, ganging up to get you out of office?
No, absolutely not. I think Nairobians gave us a mandate. They gave the CORD a mandate to look after Nairobi. I think we've done our bit, the best we can. Probably we haven't had as much support from national government as we should, but we've done the best. I mean, you can see the city is lit. Crime has dropped from what it was 2,000 per month to about 60 per month. But still on that, I think one of the issues that came up during when we were doing the briefing is the issue of the transfer of voters. There used to be a law that prohibited transfer, that unless you lived in a place for 6 months, you cannot register there. Of course, I mean, that was removed by Parliament, probably rightfully so. But the fact is that you cannot go and vote in a place where you don't live, because what happens in that area does not affect you. Take, for example, I mean, the major issue in Nairobi is water. We have only 50%. Our water comes from Murang'a. The Murang'a people are opposing us getting water from Murang'a. So if you get people being transported from Murang'a to come and register and vote in Nairobi, it beats the purpose of representation. All
right. I'll finish up. Final question, kindly. You suspended your plans for mass action due to how uncomfortable you are with the electoral laws and the amendments and it being signed by the president. What is the plan after the mass voter registration exercise?
No, we've said that we don't want to disrupt the voter registration exercise. Okay. We say that this is a subject for another day. And we hope that finally the councils of goodwill are going to prevail. So that we don't have to have a confrontation with this issue. Okay. I'm just telling you, I came from Ghana, and they just have been through a very peaceful elections. They had a provision for a backup,
Okay.
which I think we should adopt in that. So we really do not need to fight over this issue. If Jubilee would be prepared to sit down with us and negotiate.
Yeah.
And therefore, we want to reserve whatever we intend to do until after the end of this registration exercise.
So we might be looking at negotiations.
Pardon?
We might be looking at negotiations as the way forward.
Yeah, we think we can negotiate and come
right.
up with a middle ground,
All right.
an acceptable solution.
All right. Thank you very much for your time. I understand we don't have too much time. Would have loved to have it longer, but thank you very much for giving us your time. Former Prime Minister, Court Leader Raila Odinga, Nairobi County Governor Evans Kidero. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming in. And Betty, I will hand it over back to you. You've had it. Some of the comments they have about very pertinent issues as far as matters elections are concerned. From here live at the KICC, we definitely hope that you will enjoy the rest of your viewing. I'll just let my guests get out. But of course, we are coming to you live from the KICC, where the launch